What is up, everybody? I hope you guys are all having a fantastic day. Wow, well, not a lot going on with Bitcoin price action right now. We're kind of still hovering around that $30,000 range. But as usual, we have massive announcements coming out across the board. We're certainly going to talk Australia. We're going to talk the new stablecoin launched in tandem with Stellar and Ripple from Novatti Group. Going to get into a little bit of VeChain information. Going to get into some DeFi mechanisms with Xrp. Going to get into Hedera Hashgraph with community nodes and kind of end it with something that I found interesting today. But I wanted to start with this. Novatti Group, which we know has been a partner of Ripple and utilizes RippleNet, is ODL, which utilizes XRP for a couple of years now, announcing that they're going to launch a stablecoin initiative with Ripple and Stellar. Now, there are various different news announcements of this today. One that I did see stated that this stablecoin was going to be on the XRP ledger, and they actually pull a quote from an individual from Novatti. We strongly believe that demand for the use of digital currencies will only increase going forward. Deploying our AUDC, or Australian dollar stablecoin, on the XRP ledger will help Novatti capture this growing demand and, in turn, position us to deliver new revenue streams, deploying it on the XRP ledger. Now, if we go back in time here, this announcement, I believe, from Novatti came out in December of 2020. Ripple partnership to fast-track growth in Southeast Asia. Talked about Novatti joining RippleNet. Moving forward a little bit here, this is April 14th, 2021, so a couple of months later, we see the on-demand liquidity announcement. Novatti taps on-demand liquidity to improve Australian remittance payments to Southeast Asia. Now, what I find interesting in this is the verbiage. So, what I found right here, on-demand liquidity, and this is from Ripple, allows Novatti and Novatti's fintech customers to deliver on this promise, the promise of, scale, efficiency, etc., because it enables instant cross-border payments without the need for pre-funding. So, the Bitcoin Lightning Network is obviously pre-funding. We know Swift and Swift GPI is, for the most part, pre-funding. I do believe that Swift GPI has instantaneous settlement as well, but that's through promissory initiatives between the two transacting parties. But without the need for pre-funding. Before on-demand liquidity, remittance providers would need to hold pre-funded accounts on each side of a transaction in that country's local currency. So again, on-demand liquidity allows Novatti and its fintech customers to deliver on the promise of speed, efficiency, no pre-funding, etc. Looking at some of Novatti's partners, they have Alipay, WeChat Pay, Union Pay, ePay, run the gamut here. IBM, Stellar, obviously, as we know from today's announcement, Blockchain Australia, etc., etc., etc. And then 24th of September 2021, the partnership expanded into Thailand, following the momentum of Novatti tapping on RippleNet's on-demand liquidity service for remittances between Australia and the Philippines in April of this year. The service has been expanded into Thailand. Before I play this, I would be remiss if I weren't going to bring up Hedera Hashgraph in Australia. We do know that obviously EFTPOS, which is essentially the ACH, the debit card, the national debit card system within Australia, is a governing board member of Hedera Hashgraph. They did a proof of concept back in 2020 for micropayments. Obviously successful. Now they sit on the governing board, and I've seen documents from EFTPOS with redacted commentary, etc. But I've went over that quite a bit. Today we're going to focus on Novatti, Stellar, Ripple, and apparently the XRP ledger is where this will be hosted. This is from CoinSpeaker, though, so I can recommend to take that with a grain of salt. Let me play this for you. It's about 3 minutes long, and then I'll get into the rest of the video here. But yeah, exciting news today.
Thanks for tuning in to Finance News. I'm Melissa Darmwan. Joining us again is the Chief Executive Officer of Novatti Group, Peter Cook. Peter, nice to see you.
Mel, hello. Great to be back. Thank you.
Always lovely to have you here. Now, Novatti has recently announced 2 deals around your stablecoin services. Talk us through it.
We've been able to announce partnerships with both Stellar and Ripple, 2 of the major cross-border blockchain networks, both based out of Silicon Valley and both with very high market capitalizations relatively. Ripple we've done a lot of work with in the past for cross-border payments, and Stellar we had started on a blockchain program with them a number of years ago, but now we're really bringing it to life. So we're building a multi-chain stablecoin service, initially on both the Ripple and Stellar chains. And in fact, what's a great thing is both Ripple and Stellar are largely funding the development work and even some of the marketing work that we do to get our stablecoin service out. So the stablecoin will be dollar for dollar backed Australian dollar stablecoin. So we are a licensed company. We'll be running our funds in trust accounts, and then we've got an Australian dollar stablecoin named AUDC, somewhat in line with the nomenclature of the US stablecoin USDC.
I know, I think a couple of weeks ago we were just...
Couple of things from that real quick. Obviously, we do hear Peter Cook. This was quoted in CoinSpeaker that it's going to just be on the XRP ledger, but it looks like they're going to be utilizing the XRP ledger and the ledger of Stellar. We do know, obviously, Stellar is a fork. But yeah, so interesting.
Just talking about the role of digital assets with Novatti, can you loop that in regards to the strategy now?
So stablecoin for us is essentially a major foray into digital assets. We are still a payments company, a traditional payments company, but this now gives us a major entree between, let's call it cryptocurrency, which goes up and down and is subject to other market forces, and real utilitarian crypto-based assets. So we build the stablecoin, it becomes part of our ecosystem or our infrastructure, which is licenses, tech, commercial partnerships, and from there we leverage and monetize for our either financial services customers or end business type customers. We will provide services out as stablecoin as a service, and also for holding and transacting of funds for things such as cross-border payments, on-ramp, off-ramp for cryptocurrencies, and other services yet to be seen. In terms of partnering with Ripple and Stellar, I mean, they are two of the major networks. We've been able to work with them and be a major partner of theirs in Australia, and I think that goes to a lot of the success of Novatti is that we can work with these global companies and bring through significant commercial deals.
So how...
One thing that's very interesting to pay attention to within this is he essentially is stating that the Australian stablecoin that they're going to be building out and utilizing the XRP ledger and the Stellar ledger, they may hold reserves for cross-border payments as well. So it's very interesting to see Ripple's moves, Ripple's initiatives within these ecosystems, because it's like we know that Novatti utilizes XRP through on-demand liquidity, but you have him here, you know, literally saying that, you know, stablecoin reserves as well can be utilized for cross-border payments. And I think that's a big misinterpretation that we hear a lot of the time within the Internet of Value type aspects. I think for me, my interpretation of it is, you know, what's the best asset given each individual use case. Even David Schwartz essentially saying the best incentive is no incentive previously. So building out this ecosystem of the Internet of Value, sure, Novatti can use their stablecoin for cross-border payments. There may be rails that get built out eventually within all these ecosystems where XRP, the asset, gets used, because we know that they have that capability, being that they utilize on-demand liquidity. So, and you know, you'll hear him say that, you know, Ripple and Stellar used a lot of money to help build, or to help Novatti build this platform out. So.
How do you see this impact on your revenues?
Melissa, for the next...
I'm going to end it with the revenue. You guys can check this out if you want to. But yeah, it's always really interesting. Novatti, I do believe that, you know, they're a payments company, obviously. I think their goal is just to become completely cash positive by the end of 2023. But we've seen, you know, from the Ripple announcement, you know, Novatti and their fintech partners will be able to utilize on-demand liquidity, and they've got... quite the grouping of partners here, as we can see: Visa, MasterCard, Apple Pay, etc., Google Pay, Alipay, WeChat. It's just very interesting paying attention to phraseology that sometimes just kind of goes under the hood without people maybe paying attention to it or noticing it or whatever. And that's similar to what we saw with the Finastra announcement. If we remember, Finastra is obviously big as well. Ripple basically stating that, if it's on the marketplace of Finastra and the customers of Finastra can utilize on-demand liquidity, aka XRP. Interestingly enough, I caught this real quick as well. This is November 25th, 2021. It's called their XB platform for multi-currency business accounts. I'm assuming this is X-Border.
Are you a business or e-commerce website that sends or
So I'll play this for maybe 30 seconds.
receives money internationally? Do you find it difficult and expensive to process cross-border payments from customers, suppliers, or just paying your staff? That's where Novatti can help. Introducing Novatti XB. Make international business easy with a simple, secure, and low-cost way to send and receive funds. With no setup costs, our easy-to-use platform has the latest technology to enable speed and control across your global network.
All right, so moving on from all of the Novatti announcements, and again, I think that's very big. It's just, it's interesting to see kind of the Stellar and Ripple tie-in. We've seen that a couple of different times in this space. But, we're going to consistently see adoption. It's very interesting to me, kind of the Stablecoin initiative as well, and especially since Novatti is saying that they may hold reserves for cross-border payments. We know Novatti is obviously on-demand liquidity, XRP enabled, so it'll be very interesting to see all the developments and how that ecosystem grows out, how that partnership keeps developing, because I do not think that this is the last of the announcements that we've seen. Moving forward, we don't hear a ton about VeChain on a consistent basis. I hold a tiny bit of VeChain, not financial advice, obviously. We know they're deeply ingrained in China, et cetera, et cetera. I don't hold enough to write home about. I just hold a little bit of VeChain. But essentially becoming a partner of the UFC today, I saw that. And then also sticking on the XRP ledger, XRP ecosystem, on XRP announcing a partnership with SwapSchool, which is through AVAX, to bring DeFi to the XRP community using multi-chain. There will be the ability to bridge XRPL-based assets. I'm assuming this could deal in NFTs, obviously, to Avalanche on AVAX DEX. There's going to be pools, farms, staking using Ethereum virtual machine-based smart contracts. Xpunks saying staking pools and farms for XRP, on XRP or OXP, the asset, and other listed assets on onxrp.com very soon. Something we've all been waiting for. Certainly love to see the DeFi initiatives coming out of the XRP ecosystem. Again, not financial advice with anything, but I think the white paper's there too. Yeah, or the light paper. You can read the light paper if you're interested in that. But super awesome. Kai and Bastion, those guys are great. Lee has been going through a lot recently with the launch of SwapSchool, but I'll go to bat for that dude anytime. I've known him for 3 or 4 years, so certainly going to support those initiatives in whatever way I can. HBAR to $1,000 posting the permissioned community nodes are on the roadmap for the second half of 2022 within Hedera, which is fantastic. You can see it right here. You can go onto the hedera.com /roadmap portion of the website and see all of the different initiatives. I'm really, really, really excited for JSON RPC, which essentially is like MetaMask and signing capabilities. And, we know that Hedera is EVM compatible right now, but, to see that the user experience and the tool sets that kind of exist within Ethereum come over, or at least be interoperable with a network of, just higher utility, in my opinion, such as Hedera, will be really, really great. And once we have that level playing field, I'm curious as to what happens. But I know a lot of people have been looking for node announcements within Hedera, and it looks like the second half of 2022. And last but not least, I found this very interesting. Many of you might not know this about me, but I am quite the bookworm. Like I go through stages where I'll just read like an insane person for like 2 months straight and read as many books as possible. One of the books that I read probably 3 or 4 years ago was a book called Snow Crash by Neil Stephenson. And Snow Crash essentially is the inception of the metaverse. That's where metaverse was coined. I believe Snow Crash released in 1992. It's a great book. It's fiction, obviously, but there's a lot of really interesting things that provide synergy to like where we're at today when we deal and talk about metaverse. But the father of the metaverse, which is Neil Stephenson, the author, the guy that coined that phrase, is launching his own layer 1 blockchain called Lamina 1. Again, not financial advice. I joined the Discord This is the website if you guys want to check it out. I'm certainly going to be paying attention to this. There's a really big, I forget the Don or Von Doom or whatever dude on in Ethereum on Twitter. He's following the blockchain right now. The blockchain has like Lamina 1 has like very small amount of followers on Twitter right now, but I'm going to be paying attention to this just because I found it really interesting. Neil brings his vision, wisdom, experience, and some core goals, helping get artists and other value creators paid properly for their work, helping the environment, and seeing a truly open metaverse get built instead of seeing the metaverse vision co-opted by monopolies. And, you know, we know that's the case kind of right now within all these NFT projects that are launching metaverse initiatives on Ethereum, etc., where it's like, well, I'm not going to pay fucking $2,000 to put on boxers in the morning in the metaverse. It just doesn't make sense, right, if I'm using Ethereum for gas. There was some news about proof of stake coming out of Ethereum. You know, I think they actually had more of a test run like today or yesterday. Seemingly went well, but until it gets released, the verdict is still out. I'm sure it will get released. But Lamina 1, pay attention to that if you're interested. I'm sure this is going to get eyes upon it once there starts being more announcements, real testing. And I think that there's going to be some announcements at Consensus. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Australia is ready, not only for XRP and Stellar, but very obviously for Hedera Hashgraph and HBAR as well, it appears. So I will talk to you guys when I talk to you. See ya.